Frame 5. Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
Left a possibility for Mark Selby, and the white not close enough to that ball cushion to prevent him from possibly taking it on.
Will you hand that camera in? You've been told not to use.
Referee Alan Chamberlain just spotted someone with a camera there. They're told at the start of the match, no photography, please. Although I wouldn't have minded a photograph of that shot, Willie.
Guess if anything, he hit it too well, didn't he? Generated a lot of speed there off that shot to nothing. He'd love to take the brown on, but as you can see, it's not straight enough to guarantee the pot. So the roll up behind the brown is not really gaining any advantage, because you would expect Ronnie to get into the side of the bunch and leave nothing on.
One.
Yeah, you'll have to be a little bit careful though, because if he goes the left side of the table, he could leave that pot on. There's a red just out, and if he goes the side that he's going on, if he hits this red full ball, he could leave a pot on. Doesn't want to hit that one full ball, and he has done, and he's left the pot.
Good shout, Tramlines. Tramlines, by the way, is because he never misses a fairway at golf. That's his nickname, my co-colleague Dennis Taylor, but that was a great call, because as you can see now, he has left that one on.
Wow, thankfully it's not going to cost Ronnie too many points, just that slight miscalculation there. Mark never got through onto the black, so he's only going to get the 1 point.
Mark Selby, 1.
Well, if he decides to play him behind the green, he's got to be very careful he doesn't make contact with the blue, so he may play it very thin and try and get him behind brown or yellow. Well, he's tried to get him behind the green. This was dangerous. But if it's landed, it is a magnificent shot. Obviously needed to get it where the red's finished. As you can see there, the red's finished right over the corner. And that's what we talk about, fractions in the game sometimes. It was a fraction away from leaving an easy pot.
He's got to get a little bit of side on it, and the green's hampering him slightly, but the pocket's in the way slightly. If he goes where I've got the line up, he's got to play it with left-hand side, and look how close he is to the green to do that. He's now looking to see if he can see another escape route. Without the green there, I'm sure he would play the shot I put up. He still might, but he's got to get a touch of side on this, otherwise he'll hit the pink. He's going the other side of the pocket. And he's done well, because the middle pocket was in the way.
Just looking to see whether he can hide the cue ball in behind the green again. Now this is one of those shots, now if he plays with loads of left-hand side, it could arc in behind the green. Now, obviously down the nap, if you play with left-hand side, it goes left. Against the nap, left will go right, but obviously he's decided against that. As long as he doesn't want to leave it touching at any stage, if it's touching, it's an easy shot to get him behind the green. Obviously not touching.
Yeah, well, who's going to take the risk of leaving that red over the corner? And if Mark just rolls into the reds, there's a possibility of the players looking at each other and maybe starting again. Well, what I would do now, I'd have a look at Mark and said, fancy starting again? Yeah, that's what they've decided on. They were going nowhere with that little exchange, so referee Alan Chamberlain will just replace the balls and we'll start the frame again.
Yes, I think that obviously saves time, doesn't it? Both these players are relatively quick. Mark Selby, goes without saying, is slightly slower than Ronnie O'Sullivan at 23 seconds a shot at the minute. Ronnie at his normal 17 seconds at the moment. When he's playing at the top of his game, can be down to 15. But that's just saves a bit of time.
So Ronnie O'Sullivan prefers to break off for the second time in this frame.
Frame 5. Ronnie O'Sullivan to break. Yeah.
It's a pretty good break-off shot. And Mark's left with the situation that Ronnie had in the frame before it was re-racked. Coming off either side cushion, he could leave reds into either corner pocket, so he's got to be careful here. He can pass the blue, but that's quite a thin contact. It didn't look as if he could hit the red thick enough to leave the white up in the jaws of the left corner pocket here. He's playing it with a touch aside to try and just make a better angle. And quick glance at Ronnie, and he's held his hand up. He was rather fortunate there. That wasn't what he intended, but it's worked out okay. In fact, he hasn't left Ronnie a safety shot. Well, not a safety shot to get back up to the safety end of the table.
Might be worth a little 50p bet, Dennis. Might be another re-rack here. 3 or 4 little taps into the bunch. He decided to play the aggressive safety, just pushing the white on the side cushion. At least it means Mark should be able to find the balk area now with the next safety.
Just got to be a little bit careful here. There is a path back up to the safety zone off the red that's just to the right there. That's the one he can play across the table. He's got to avoid the cannon onto the blue. He's played it well. Can only see one red, and Ronnie might just have a go at it. Just depends on the angle, as long as he's not taking the white into the reds. He could have a go at this. It would be a brave shot to try and pot this and get on the black, but you never know sometimes with Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Yes, I suppose if he plays it slow enough to finish low on the black's available, but if he misses the pot, the red above the black will be cuttable, so he's looking at the power shot, I think. Try to hold it for the pink and he's pushed a red out. That's very, very unlucky. Ronnie had a wry smile on his face there as he left the table, because he knew that after 2 or 3 little jaws of the pocket, the red came into the bunch, pushed that one out. Unlucky.
One.
Yes, and why Ronnie is unlucky, because there's a great chance for Mark here to get it up to the black. And not have quite got the line right, but that's the shot. There's 2 reds available into the left corner. Well, if he plays to put the white where the tip of the cue is, he's going to have to be very precise to leave that red for the right corner. He may not be able to screw up, but he looks to have the angle to just screw up past the right side of the reds. Now, how precise has he been? It looks pretty good.
6.
Found the gap there.
If he'd have been absolutely dead straight on this red, just stun it in for the black, but the fact that he's running away from the black means he'll be leaving the black at distance. But he will be able to nudge the other red out of play. I don't know whether he's going to play it for the pink, but a lot of players would just roll this in dead weight and then play the little cannon onto the red,
7.
which will free the black into both pockets. He's just got to be careful that when he plays the cannon on the red, it doesn't still block the path of the black in the right hand corner. I'm very surprised he's not playing the black, to be honest here, because he can bring black into play in both pockets. So until he moves the red to the right of the black, it's not necessarily a frame winning opportunity at the moment.
Thirty.
He just spotted something on the white ball there. But he looks in pretty good shape, because he can screw back and leave the black into the same pocket. He won't catch the other red. And he can play that little cannon now and just knock this red out of the way. He'll have one to the same pocket as the black. He's coming around to this side of the table, but the black might be a bit tight from
21.
there where he's queuing. It's very easy to get on the black for the opposite pocket than the one he's potting the red in, and it looks as if he will be okay.
22.
Well, in 2 shots' time, there's going to have to be some action, isn't there, from black into bunch, and that's where it can all go to a chance of frame winning or not. But in saying that, that could be helping him, because you can't avoid the kiss on the outside of the pack now and cutting this red in, and he could end up still being on blue or bought colour. It's key to play this shot. If you're going to play this shot, play with a little bit of right hand side to make sure that the cue ball goes up the top end of the table. As he's screwing back, this is making it a little bit more difficult. And I'm surprised he didn't just roll it in with the side.
Mark Selby, 29.
Put a bit of pressure on that shot for no reason.
amazing the number of times that happens when you're having to cannon into balls. You take your eye off the pot. A good long one to get Ronnie going here. Not an easy chance just yet, but we know with Ronnie O'Sullivan in a couple of shots time he could have those reds and the pink open.
Four.
Straight away gets himself on the blue to do that. Into the reds, and with a bit of luck he should open the pink up. I don't think the pink would come through and nudge the black safe. That's a bit unlucky. There's only a couple of very difficult pots. If the one to the right of the bunch is dead straight or just off straight, as long as he's not going in to the reds, and he wouldn't be, he'll take that on. Doesn't have to force it. Is he looking at one to the corner? It certainly is, and you've got the perfect picture there. No, it's not there.
Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Yes, it was key for Ronnie to get well top side of the blue, so he didn't leave the red to the left of the pink spot. If he'd just played it dead weight, he would have been leaving that red. That made the red slightly more difficult. What we've seen so far in this match, chance for chance, Mark Selby probably just about deserves to have won the opening 5 frames. I know Ronnie made 81 in the previous frame, but after Mark Selby missed a very easy ball, winning the balls on 21, and he's had a chance this frame to take a sizable lead. So he's actually dominating the match, and this is the reason I think it's a bigger frame for Mark than it is for Ronnie, because Ronnie must feel like he could be 4-1 behind. If it ends up 3-2, Mark Selby will be very disappointed. He's had chances in every frame.
Just had a word with Mark. I don't know what he said, but Mark, as usual, making a bit of a joke of it. But that cannon on the brown was useful there for Ronnie, because it snookered Mark on that red. Yellow blocking the path through to that one. Target will be around behind the brown if he can make it. No problem though for Ronnie to play a safety shot off that red left side of the table. Might go close to the double when he plays the safety shot. Nearly knocked it in. A very good cue ball, as you can see.
What a great exchange of safety we've seen on the last 2 visits to the table. Albeit he has left a red at distance, but it doesn't look like he can get onto a colour from this red, and it may be virtually straight. If it is straight, I don't know how he's going to get out into open play. Just off straight, look, he's going to have to really hit this at pace. Oh, decided just to play the safety, and that was a very, very good shot. I didn't think he could play the thin safety. Excellent shot.
I think he can get round with a little touch of side off that red. Somewhere near the line would be good. see part of the crowd here enthralled in this first session. The standard has been superb. Mark Selby has had breaks of 74, 42, 89. Ronnie 45 and 81. Got to be careful. Is the white bounced out far enough? Mark trying to see from the other end of the table, which he wouldn't be able to tell, only Ronnie can. Must be able to see enough of it. Oh, that's tight. Oh, he's got to play that with a touch aside, you would feel.
And also trying to screw back a little bit to flick off the red to get on the pink, and played it beautifully. Just had to flick off that red to bring the white further out into the middle of the table, and this is a good chance for Ronnie to get back within one.
Seven.
Quite a bit to do with 4 reds safe at the moment.
Eight.
3 behind the black spot, out of commission, 1 left side of the table. And look at that for a shot. To play into that gap there to leave the red
13. on. 14. 20. 21.
Ronnie just had a little look at what angle he'd need onto the red to go into the 3 reds, but it's unlikely he'd play a cannon from red to 3 reds. He was probably just thinking of the angle he needed on the pink. There's not a lot of room to go up for the blue. Ideally, green or yellow are the easiest shots to get a position if he doesn't get the right angle on the pink. He's looking at the pink.
Yeah, from the blue you can't get to the 3 reds because the pink would be in the way of that cannon. So it means he's got to be absolutely spot on. That's the better shot, as you mentioned, really. If he gets up for green or yellow, then he can get into the 3 reds much easier. A bit more margin for error if he heads up the other end of the table.
28.
He looks to be a bit straight on both yellow and green, so he's going to have to use the brown. He just didn't get his last positional shot as he wanted. He wanted
32.
the yellow or green to get into them. It was very difficult to try it from the brown.
Right, O'Sullivan.
The red out again, but similar scenario to the last time that Selby came to the table. He's virtually straight, but he can get onto pink or black here. Let's just have a little look at what kind of angle he has on this red. What he can actually run through to play for blue or bought colour. And the reason I'm saying that is because it takes out of the equation leaving the red that's on the black spot. So he needs to play this at pace. Excellent shot. Well played. Excellent shot.
1.
Well, there's a few reds that were safe behind this black
6.
spot area before Ronnie played this safety shot. He might have tried to open them up, but he didn't get the white in behind the green.
7.
Black back on its spot will help, and that's what he played for.
This gives him a chance to win the frame at one visit now with the black there, because the red that's tight on the cushion will obviously be easier with the black
40.
on its spot. If he's dead straight on this, he'll be unfortunate because he's got a little bit of work to do with the cue ball. It needs to be high on the black. Can he get high? Needs a good shot. Needs to be high.
50.
And he's not high.
He needed to play that with reverse side, but it would have made the pot much more difficult. But he's still at the table. He can pot the black and try and lay the snooker then, which would put him a strong favourite for this frame. Doesn't want to push the red anywhere near a cushion. Keep it an open
22.
play and get the snooker behind the black. If he had the red up near one of the balk colours, it wouldn't be bad.
Mark Selby, 22.
That's pretty good. Always need a little bit of good fortune when you're escaping from this type of shot. He's gone around the back of it, and it could be a free ball.
And a miss.
Miscalled
Selby,
also. I don't think it's a free ball. Mark will have it replaced.
That's the reason Dennis mentioned good fortune needed, because not only is he going to hit the red, he's hopefully going to send the red past the balk colours and leave the white down there in the table. So he's trying to hit it right from behind to leave the white where the red is, and it's missing the balk colours. It's the problem with the red here. So it's 50-50 whether he gets this safe. Playing the same shot. Well, it's amazing. Went around the back of it the first time, went inside this time.
Free ball this time, though.
Mark Selby, 4 and a free ball.
And Mark may think about the pink into the right middle pocket, because he would come around the back of the black. Just depends on the angle as to whether he can pot the pink and just come off the two cushions and onto the black. If he tries to leave it there, it's a very delicate little screw shot required. I suppose if he tries it that way, he's always got a chance of the snooker if he doesn't pot the pink. But that's the way he's playing it. But the fact he played it that way, he was looking for the snooker if he missed, puts that little bit of doubt on the pot.
Couldn't agree with you more, and it was such a tough snooker to hit. Ronnie was actually quite fortunate, once he'd missed the snooker, not to have left the straightforward pot on pink or black, and the fact that he'd left it half ball, was there any merit in having it replaced for the next time?
Ronnie might pot this. Oh. That's not a bad little nudge on the brown.
There may be just a tiny bit of the red sticking out, but if not, the green's in the way to play one cushion.
I think he can pass the brown to hit the red, but where's he going to knock it? If he hits that thin, it's got to go over towards the pink there in the right corner pocket, so the white would be heading back up to somewhere near where it is at the moment, so there's a lot can go wrong with this shot. He's hit the brown.
Foul and a miss. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 4.
Well, this is one of them awkward little situations where it's very important to get the balls back exactly where they were, because there was very little of the red sticking out. White maybe was a little bit to the right of where it is at the moment.
Does that look like that? Right, Ronnie?
this worth the risk? He's deciding whether he should just play the up and down safety, but you know he wants to take the pot on if he can, but this is a tough decision. Whichever one he takes, it could prove to be the wrong choice. It was hard to say what the right choice was there, the pot or the safety.
Yeah, when the safety shot is tough, you might as well take the pot on. He hasn't left. It's a very acute angle into the middle pocket there. No problem potting that red if you were in behind it, or somewhere around where the green is. And with these, it's a chance of getting a snooker, but I always feel you've got to make sure you get the red ball safe rather than think too much of the white. Didn't get the red safe. Tried the snooker, but I always prefer to make sure you get the object ball near a cushion.
Yeah, sure.
This is one of those situations where, similar to early on in the frame, when there's a red sticking out of the pack, you play the shot to nothing around the back of the black, and with the pink where it is, it means he can play that kind of shot, which takes a little bit of pressure off the pot. If you place a screw around the back of the black, and he's bound to get into the balk area should he get anywhere near the pot.
How's your luck? Is the yellow coming to the rescue? It certainly is.
It doesn't matter how good you are, does it? You've always got to have that bit of good fortune. It changes so many matches the run of the ball.
Well, even this, well, must be able to just, there's two cushions and trying to get distance between red and white. Now, is the blue going to come to Mark's rescue?
Make sure you can hit it very thin. Thicker, he'll hit the black with a cue ball, so he's got to be careful to hit it very thin. Decided that it was too risky, but that's a terrible shot. That's one of the worst shots Ronnie's played for quite some time. Played to push the red on the side cushion. It hasn't worked.
Oh, what a chance for Mark Selby to extend his lead to 4-1. It looks as if he can avoid the cannon onto the brown and yellow. There is a gap through there, and he's bound to be on a colour if he safely negotiates that. Is that too much white and not enough concentration on the red? I think it might have been.
Well, and I think this frame is really important now for Mark Selby, because he's had 4 chances in this frame, and I mentioned earlier he could be 5-0 in front. To be only 3-2, the way he's really been dominating the game, really, he'll be very disappointed if he loses this frame now.
How's the luck this time? A lot of balls to get a snooker behind there.
Foul and a miss. Mark Selby 6.
Well, Ronnie felt as if he could just flick the red, so it's another one of those situations with the referee. It's not easy to get the white back exactly where it was.
If you could flick the red, Dennis, surely you'd be better playing the shot from here, wouldn't you, than putting Ronnie back in?
Yeah, he's got a shot on here, but he's going to have it replaced. So Alan Chamberlain was hoping that he might play the shot and send the red around the angles there.
But obviously he can see the red, otherwise he wouldn't have played it. That's why I'm surprised that it replays, because he had a very easy safety shot to play, and if Ronnie hits this thin and plays 2 cushions, you know, he could put Mark in trouble.
Right? Happy with that, Mark?
That's how it was. Let's see. That's near enough spot on. Where's the white? That's pretty good. It's okay, it's just gone past the middle pocket. So although Mark Selby's got a 19-point advantage, whoever pots this red would be favoured to take the frame where the balls are sitting. Might just have a free go at this red. I don't think he'll cannon the black. He's just looking to see what the angle is. If he tries to take the pot on, will he cannon into that black? He might do. He's definitely looking at the potting angle, going to the side of the table there to look at it, so he feels as if he can take it on and not cannon the black. We'll find out shortly.
A little bit unfortunate there to catch the jaws of the middle pocket, hence the white has kicked to the right-hand side of the table. If it had stayed on the left-hand side, he'd have probably covered this red. Ronnie would definitely be taking this on. And if he's nicely on the yellow, it could win him the frame.
One.
It's not nicely on anything. Brown's available, getting on the yellow is tough, so maybe 2 yellows is the best choice.
Yeah, the brown is okay, but it's going to have to come up onto the pink spot, because the pink, I think, is covering the brown spot, so he hasn't got a good enough angle on the brown to hold for the yellow, so the yellow and just between green and brown would do nicely. Doesn't want to hit that half ball. He snookered himself. Can you believe it? He has snookered himself.
3.
Two cushions with lots of side.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 3.
Oh, what an amazing frame. This has been by far and away the longest frame of this session so far. Just coming up to 33 minutes of play in this frame, and we're still no nearer to a conclusion. Or certainly no nearer to who's going to win the frame.
Not quite. Might try and use the black as a stopper here. He's got a good chance to get around the table. Well, referee having a good look. Mark has a good look. May have to play it with a little touch of swerve. Well, he's hitting it in the middle, so it's going to be a very thin one. He's played it well, if the white keeps running.
A little bit of value on the cross double here, because he'll get it down on the green should it go in, and he can get the snooker if it doesn't. Got the white in the right place, that was the key thing in that shot. Not so easy now to play safe from this one.
You don't really see Ronnie O'Sullivan involved in many longish frames. On the other hand, I sat in the commentary box while Mark Selby played that record-breaking 77-minute frame against Marco Fu. It was a fascinating frame. Now, this is not easy by any means, but there's a possibility he could get to the green. He'd have to come twice across the table. That's the sort of angle he'd have to go at if he needs to get to the green, as long as he misses the blue either side, not necessarily my line. He's got away with it though, didn't quite get into it.
Slightly easier safety shot than the last time he came to the table. His last time it was a very tough safety. If he can hold the cue ball, the yellow will go virtually up near the brown and pink, but got to be a little careful, isn't it, too hard, because it could end up going over the, what we talk about being the yellow pocket. Can he get in behind it, he's thinking now. Surely he's not thinking of playing a cut along the cushion, is he? He's coming around to look at the potting angle. He may feel that he's bound to get a good white in playing that and could get away with it. But getting the yellow away from the pocket is always tough when they're this near. Well, the yellow has come away from the pocket, and he was on the green, should have gone in.
It's an awkward safety shot here. He can double kiss the yellow if he doesn't catch it correctly. Played it well. It's so easy to catch the yellow again there when you play that type of shot.
Don't blame him taking the cut on this time, because it's the only way of getting back into balk. But didn't play the cut, played the safety, and played it very well.
Quite amazing the number of times now that the players plan to get out of a snooker, and he seems to be able to keep knocking it safe. Still looks very composed and relaxed.
This is not easy, because if he just stuns it straight in the middle of the yellow would cannon into pink and brown, so he's going to have to play it slightly thinner than that. Well, this is a poor shot. He could be in trouble now. Look at all those snookering balls. All 5 balls he can be snookered behind here. It's the first poor safety shot he's played, I think, today, Mark Selby's safety is very, very high in quality during most matches he plays.
Looks pretty good to me. Can he hit it again? Can he get it safe? That's the sort of line he needs, with a little bit of pace. Well, he's played to land on a dead weight. Great judgment. Had to just get it correct, otherwise he could have pushed it into a potable position there. Advantage still with Ronnie, though. It's another snooker.
There was anything that surprised me about Ronnie's last shot. He had so many snookerian balls, and I'm surprised he put the yellow near the cushion, because it made it that even if he missed it, he wouldn't leave a pot on. Both middle pockets are very close to being in the way here.
Okay.
He's going to try and get right in behind the yellow to kick it back up the table. He'll be playing with a bit of pace this time. Can he judge this one? It was a good effort, but he's put it on. Ronnie O'Sullivan has been very patient, and he gets the first chance at the yellow, but it's been a fascinating tactical battle here.
Little unlucky, wasn't he, to catch the blue with the cue ball. Without the cannon on the blue, the white would have been at this end of the table, which would have left a yellow at distance. If this goes in, you know he's going to be on the yellow. Sorry, on the green, I should say.
2.
Just about got there.
Tactical duel carried on for 8 minutes before the mistake was made. And there's the frame time coming up to almost 42 entertaining minutes.
This would be a body blow for Mark Selby should he go on to lose this frame. That it certainly looks like he possibly will now, and he's dominated virtually every frame.
Hold on to your horses. He didn't want to cannon the black. Now he's got a tricky little shot if he's going to go around the table. He's played to leave the longish pink.
14.
And he needs pink and black, so it's not all over yet. This is not a gimme. That was never easy. Where's the pink going?
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 14.
And this will hurt if Mark can pot the pink. It's going to be 4-1. And I say it hurts when you play a long frame like this, and you had the chance to clinch it, and when he cannoned the black, it spoiled it. Well, it was a fascinating 43-minute frame. Ronnie O'Sullivan looked like he was going to take it. The cannon on the black spoiled it. Mark Selby extends his lead. He's 4-1 in front.
Well, we tore through the opening 4 frames in just under an hour. That one alone has lasted 43 minutes. And how significant could that tactical exchange be, Steve?
Well, interestingly, as you say, the longer frames, the longer the frame, the more sort of importance in some respects is that you win it, because it seems fairly debilitating if you do lose. Well, you don't want to lose too many of them. At one stage, the commentators there, Dennis, really talking about the possibilities that if Mark threw it away, how he would feel. And then Ronnie got the best chance right at the end, played a poor positional shot, cannoned into the pink, and then all of a sudden, cannoned into the black, and then wrong side of the blue, and in a split second, the debilitation to some degree has gone on to Ronnie. He could ill afford to lose that frame. Obviously Mark Selby could have afforded to have lost it more, but still, that's horrible now. That's sort of 4-1 instead of the other way round, 3-2. It seems like a massive difference.
Yeah, it does seem to affect the balance of power even more, doesn't it, after a frame like that? Because how do you feel as a snooker player when you've come through something like that and only to... It's that final ball syndrome we were talking about at half-time, Steve, isn't it? Only to fall at that part.
Well, if you've lost a long frame like that, especially the likes of Ronnie O'Sullivan, who plays these games pretty quickly and usually blasts the balls apart and usually gets on with it anyway, it seems like you've climbed a mountain and got nowhere. From the other perspective, Mark Selby has won a frame that was, even though he had the best chances at sort of some stage with one red left, he's won a frame that in the end was really in the balance and was like it's like getting a free roll, it's like getting a free frame given to you, because it could have gone either way, and you haven't really sort of won it yourself. It's been not presented to you, but it could have gone either way. So all of a sudden, you actually come back after that feeling sort of quite buoyed up, even though you may not have played that well in it.
Plenty of mistakes from both of them.
Well, they weren't necessarily totally glaring mistakes, but it was just sort of positional mistakes, balls going the wrong side, a lot of safety shots, snooking one guy gets out of snooker, doesn't present his opponent with a chance. So there was nothing clear-cut at the end, and it was fascinating to see how the balls can go. But obviously the players had chances throughout the frame when the reds were on the table. As yet, Ronnie still hasn't settled down. He did well to win that frame before the interval, but it's not the Ronnie O'Sullivan we saw against in his last match.
It's not yet, but I suppose the beauty of the way Ronnie plays is he can rediscover that form at any moment. I'm sure his fans are hoping that he can.
He can, yes, but he doesn't want to get Mark to go too far ahead, obviously.
Absolutely not, right. I believe that Ronnie's still out there, so Mark Selby back in there. If you were in Ronnie's corner at the moment, what kind of advice could you impart to him, Steve, if anything at all?
I'm not too sure, really, when it comes to telling players what they can and can't do. I mean, it's very difficult in intervals. Sometimes with a player like Ronnie, best to not talk about the game, talk about something else. He's got the natural ability. If you were looking as a Ronnie fan, what he's got to do here, obviously it would be nice to win 2 out of the next 3 frames. How he goes about that just lets his natural talent do the business, really, but he doesn't look to be out of it.
No.
Sometimes we've seen him in his chair, as we said at the interval, doesn't look to be sort of like, you know, going into sort of a shell or sort of losing touch with the game and what's going on. But that frame wasn't great. I think he's done the right thing by walking out of the room. So I think the fact he's walked out is important. Now, perhaps he wanted to go to the toilet, I know, but sometimes a player who's really given up and thrown the towel in sits there in the chair and just stews a bit. If you go out, I think to some degree it means you've still got your mind on the job.
How much pressure, I wonder if I can have a quick chat with the boys in the commentary box. Willie and Dennis, how much pressure do you think a fella like Ronnie is under most of the time? Because everyone expects him to be brilliant all of the time. And as Steve and I have been chatting about earlier on, sometimes it's really hard to just find it on any given day, isn't it?
Yeah, well, he's certainly under the pressure at the moment, because I've never known Ronnie to be out of the arena for so long. Mark left the arena, he was away quite a while, but there's still no sign of Ronnie, so maybe losing that last frame has taken quite a bit out of him, and that's why he's spending quite a time out of the arena.
How do you assess it?
Sorry, I was just going to say, Hazel, that the thing about that frame, the fact that Mark Selby now knows that he can't go into the final session behind, and I think that could make him relax a little bit more.
Willie, obviously you know Mark Selby very well. We've been talking about players from Leicester. Obviously there's your good self, but you know this man very well. We got to know him at the Crucible, but how much talent do you think he possesses?
Well, I mentioned very early on in commentary, Hazel, that the only thing I think he needed in his game was the fact to improve his break building, and that's something he did last season, where he made some 14 centres at the Crucible, and he played very, very well at the Crucible. I think that was key, really, because we all knew that he was one of the best safety players in the game, but to compete at the top level, you've got to score. Yeah,
I think when he changed his cue action and was more compact, that's made the big difference, and it's proven that with his break building.
A very big practice of Mark. It's common knowledge that he also plays in the 8-ball pool tour. He's actually a former world 8-ball pool champion, and you know, he plays cue sports all day long. I mean, he goes into the club most days. He's moved from my club now to another club in the last few years, and he enjoys practicing. He's got a very, very good practice partner that he plays with, and he's one of those players that's very, very relaxed, and that helps him play.
Just wondering what's going to happen here, because Alan Chamberlain, our referee, is wandering around the arena there, and he's getting a little bit concerned, wondering where Ronnie has gone.
When does it become ungentlemanly conduct, Dennis? How long you're out of the room?
Well, maybe he just had to have a natural break, and it's very difficult for the referee, but let's hope Ronnie does come back again. 6 minutes he's been gone. That's very, very unusual indeed.
Well, we can only presume there's something obviously wrong with Ronnie, but a bit of illness or something like that. And Mark Selby's just asking the referee whether he's been out too long to claim a frame. I don't think that'll come into the equation here. But he's a likeable lad, Mark. He likes a good time on the table and behind the scenes, always laughing and joking, hence his nickname.
Well, I'm not sure, guys, when it starts to become something of a problem. Let's see what Alan's saying to Mark, if we can. Oh, Alan's just covering his microphone to keep their conversation private at the moment. But I hate to be the one that brings this up. I'm sure nothing is wrong. Ronnie is on his way back. I don't have to bring it up. I was going to talk to Mark Selby's got the binoculars out looking for Ronnie. Here he comes. I was going to mention that infamous quarter-final walkout last year, but no need. He's back. We're okay.
Well, I've never heard a player get a reception like that
Selby.
after coming back after a natural break.
He made a 147 in less time than he had that toilet break.
Yeah, he's made the 3 quickest ever maximum breaks, Ronnie O'Sullivan. 2 of them in just over 6 minutes, but the one I'll never forget, I commentated at the Crucible in 1997 when he made that record-breaking maximum in 5 minutes and 20 seconds. Don't think that record will ever be beaten.
I just hope he's feeling okay. I mean, we can't tell obviously by his demeanour that he's feeling ill at all, but I'm sure we'll find out and let you know before the night session what happened there in that break.
One.
Maybe he was on the practice table practicing his long potting. That wouldn't be the case, that's for sure.
No attempt to run up behind the brown here. He knows he can run through and leave a red at distance, and the black's available as well. Actually, he can't believe where that cue ball's finished. He's overrun that by 18 inches. He's very, very annoyed at himself there. He's played to lead the cue ball on choice of 2 reds, and he got on neither. The red's cuttable in the middle, but avoiding the cannon on the brown's a slight problem.
I think he's okay. Well, this one goes and he can get back for the blue if he doesn't fancy holding for the black. Yeah, he could hold for the black.
6.
He's overhit that one. He played for the bottom of the 2 reds, but he knows that the red's available in the middle. That back cushion has been flying just a little bit this week. Tables are such a high standard when, of course, they play set up for these tournaments. Beautiful to play on, very, very fast cloth. As you can see there, the white just keeps rolling and rolling.
This time played for the loose red. He had an angle to go off the side
80.
cushion and into them. Sometimes he does that.
19.
Did a couple of reds available. One to the right of the black and the one at the back of the bunch. That one at the back of the bunch is on.
26.
This is the beauty of Ronnie now. He's already looked at the bunch of reds, so he's going to try and leave the cue ball in a position where he can screw into the pack, because the red that's just to the right of the black, if he screws into the pack,
27.
the white's going to come off the bunch and he'll be on that red just in case he doesn't bring another red into play. This is what makes him so very dangerous. So he's playing a little screw off the bunch, trying to bring him into play, knowing he's on that red as well. Unlucky, gone a little bit too far.
34. 35.
And this cloth is so fast that it's sometimes difficult to control the cue ball. The players prefer it like this, but if you're not right on your game, it's so easy to overrun your position. Glad to leave the blue in the middle there, taking it in the corner instead. Now this red's going to be maybe a little bit awkward. The one near the cushion, he's going to have to sort of lean over that slightly. Is
40.
he okay? Yeah, he's fine.
This could go wrong if he goes into them here, so he might play for the loose red. As he hit it hard enough. He had so much room there. You can see how annoyed he is that he's not on this red. But I don't know whether he can play it with a bit of side to pot it, but he seems to be getting annoyed for no reason.
49.
I thought once again he wasn't on the ball.
Yeah, I think he's just deceiving us all. Now he can play the cannon onto the pink. And if this works out, it will be a great chance to take the frame.
Break goes to 54. Red's now in absolutely perfect position.
55.
That's a bad shot. He's not got the stun run through right there. He missed a black like this in the previous frame.
I think the pink's available, which he didn't play for, but just coming to his rescue here.
He knows he's going to go into the night session no worse than level, so he'll be very relaxed at the moment. Obviously trying to win both the remaining frames, but as long as he wins at least one of them, it puts him right in the match. I think at 4-4, he'll be horrified if he went 4-4 because he's dominated this session so far. Oh, can you believe that shot Ronnie's played there? It was very careless. Luckily for him, he's past the winning post. Played to get on the ready kiss into this corner pocket. But the break goes to 77, a chance of the
78.
first century in this session. Mark Selby broke down on 99, well, ran out of balls on 99. Well, no century again, but he did what he had to do. He had to win a frame at one visit, something he's only done on one occasion. Ronnie clawing his way back into the game, but still trails by 4 frames to 2. Well, Dennis, it's hard to know why Ronnie left the arena for so long, but it didn't do him any harm.
Well, I think he just probably composed himself because he came back out and looked very focused, very relaxed. He was disappointed at losing that long frame. As Steve Davis was saying in the studio, you have a long, hard battle like that. You know, it takes it out of you a bit if you lose the frame. But that was just what he needed. And 2 more frames to be played, and it could quite easily be 4 each.
Do you spot anything different with Ronnie from previous days? It's just the fact that Mark Selby's competing with him.
No, Mark has played extremely well, and he's dominated that first session, as you said, Willie, but 2 important frames coming up. He would like one of them.
Ronnie looking in a slightly pensive mood, but he knows that if
Ronnie
he gets out of this
break.
session no worse than
Frame
5-3, he'll be happy.
I like that side-on camera. It just shows you even how difficult the break-off shot is. You usually just see the white hitting the reds and swinging around past the blue, but from that angle it shows you that you've got to catch the reds correctly, and Ronnie didn't do that this time. He's left this chance for Mark.
One.
Very good pot, but just too much pace on the cue ball. He's looking at the long brown here, as there's no real value in just rolling up to a colour. But roll up he's going to do. I say no real
Mark
value
Selby.
because
What?
Ronnie can just come off the side cushion and just land into the bunch. Well, he's going the other side, so it's the same scenario.
Touching ball.
Touching ball, so this is one of those situations where when I was playing I tended to prefer the white tight on the baulk cushion to try and force them into playing a difficult safety shot rather than get it up behind the colour. As Dennis just said, it's very easy for somebody like Ronnie to rest off one cushion and rest in the bunch, so you're a lot better off putting the cue ball in a position to force him to bring reds into play.
Yeah, I mean, if you tried to get the snooker here behind the green and didn't get it, you would leave a possible pot on. So yeah, as close to the baulk cushion as possible. This time twice across the table to achieve that.
As long as he covers the loose red up, he'll be quite happy. He hasn't covered the loose red up. It was key to try and cover that one up because the thin safety shot is on. Well, that opens the black up, so leaving the loose red is not in the equation now because they can play for the black. Even though the black's safe, it's on. Taking the pot on, running through for blue or baulk colour. Wow. Goodness me. He nearly knocked somebody out of the front row there. His arm went right across that one.
That was the worst shot he's played, and well, I think the whole tournament. He just cued right across that. You don't often miss a pot like that by that distance. And that's pretty good. He's blocked the path off down the right side of the table. Referee Alan Chamberlain just checking to see where the white is. That's just in case that Mark should try and escape and maybe not hit a red, or try a thin one and not hit one. He's got to know where the white is situated. Much tougher job these days for the referees.
The key thing, what I've noticed so far, is that Mark Selby's got Ronnie playing at his pace rather than the other way around. Normally, Ronnie dictates the pace of the game, and as we saw a few years ago with Peter Ebdon, you can't always beat Ronnie playing his own way. You know, you've got to try and slow him down. He's not playing slow, Mark, by any stretch of the imagination, but he's up to 27 seconds a shot, which means he's just, you know, just messing Ronnie around a little bit, and you can't blame him for that. You can't let Ronnie have all his own way, and Mark's done that very well today.
That's amazing too. He played to get to the yellow, but to get a snooker with the yellow so close to the cushion, that was amazing. That was like watching a game of bowls, and the ball coming right up and just landing on it. That's a toucher.
No spray from referee Alan Chamberlain in this game, but he'll be keeping an eye on this because this is a tough snooker to hit. It's risky to rest into the reds just below the pink, because if he just brushes by them, he may leave one on, so I can't see any other shot though.
Yeah, I mean the one cushion escaping into the reds. If he didn't get it right, he'd leave the one next to the pink on, and the two cushion escape. He's not guaranteed to get it safe. I think he's left it if he hits this. He doesn't want to hit that. Oh, didn't he do well there? It looked as if he was going to hit the red that's above the black, and he had a little reaction there as the white came past it. If he hits that red, he would have stuck them up. Judged to perfection, that.
Yes, great shot. I can only assume the one cushion escape wasn't on with him playing it that way, but couldn't have played it better. There's no room to hide behind the yellow from the angle he's going this time. Looks like he's playing either the thin safety or the three cushion safety off this loose red, but the red that is nearest to, he can screw off that, and if he gets the white anywhere near the yellow, he would open reds into play, and he's sure to get a good white. I'm surprised he's not playing the one that he's nearest to, and just get the cue ball on top of the yellow.
That's eventually what he's going to play. Just runs it down the table, but he was looking for something a bit more creative there so that he would put Mark in a bit more trouble, but it wasn't there really. It's a tough red that he's faced with into the right corner, so he's looking for a safety shot here. Just depends where the reds go here. He doesn't want to disturb them too much. Make sure he gets a good cue ball again. He's played it well. He's not purposely taking his time here, it's just that there's no easy escape. Ronnie's played such a good safety shot there, and sometimes when you can't see a shot immediately, you've got to try and look for something. Some of the past masters at this, people like Steve Davis, Ray Reardon, Cliff Thorburn, they didn't just put the white down the table, they used to put it in such an awkward position that you couldn't see a shot to play. And is he forced into taking the pot on? Yeah, he can't see a safety shot. that's not easy because of the position the white would go. And the same applies the other side of the table. This needs good cueing. Dead straight. Oh, didn't he hit that well? Well, that piston-like cue action went right through in a straight line. Beautiful.
Undoubtedly the shot of the match so far, having, you know, played a lot of safety play. It's hard to keep your cue action in fine tune. He did that there. That was excellent.
5.
Ronnie's just in the way as to whether he's the right side of the blue, and as he moves away you can see he's almost straight, but it doesn't matter this time because there's a red up between the blue and pink there. Just leave the white where it is at the moment, screw back. And the pink is available into one of the corner pockets, so in a couple of shots time he might get on that because it would go onto the black spot, because its spot is occupied.
12.
In fact, he might even play for the red that's next to the pink, and that will clear the pink spot area. And knowing Ronnie, he'll have worked that out. So the pink will
70.
go back on its own spot when he pots this, and will be in the open for a couple of pockets.
$80.
Because there's been so much safety, Ronnie's shot time has gone up to 19 seconds, so Mark has been competing with him in the safety
24.
department. Obviously with the frame score has been competing with him in the break building.
25.
These are key moments in these matches, this next frame and a half for Mark Selby, because whatever happens, the way it's played, he should win the session. But it's not beyond the realms of possibility. He could only tie the session.
31. $32.
And you can see where he wants to put the white ball there, tip of the cue, somewhere around there, and do nicely. And he's looked at all the options. And he's decided much better to come back across and leave the easier pot. It was a bit more
38.
difficult into the opposite corner that he's taking this. So
39.
he's having to work very hard for these. Even this next red isn't
45.
all that easy. It's a bit of a cutback here.
46.
Well, it may look as if it was a little bit of good luck to hit the knuckle, but how does he get into the reds? They're all covering each other. This will be some shot. Playing it with right hand side. Watch the white. But even then it's going to be tough. He may hit them, but He's not going to push anything on.
51.
That was very difficult, so he could have done without catching the middle pocket with the cue ball on that previous shot.
But he's got the black safe, he's got the yellow safe. He'd like to put a red on the cushion if he could at some stage in the next safety exchange.
51.
So nice little break of 51. Mark Selby hasn't scored any sizable break since frame 3. He has had a break above 30 in the last 3.5 frames, so he's got to re-establish himself now. Ronnie has had breaks of 81, 32, 78 and 51, so clearly he's getting his cueing arm going, and Mark's just slightly going off the boil. Key moments for me in this match now. The fact that Mark's 50 behind, he could bring the black into play here. There could be a plant on those two reds at the back to bring the black out. No, not quite. It was key there to open the balls into play, and he's done that now. So on his safety, he's going to have to be very careful, and that's an excellent shot from Mark. Well played. I think he can get through to the one just to the right of the black, but can he hit it thin enough to get back into baulk? No, he's playing the swerve, the one next to the pink. The pink will be in play after this, of course. That's an excellent safety shot. Well played. Excellent.
Just a little bit concerned about playing the safety shot and knocking one red onto another and sending it towards the left corner pocket. As long as he gets a good cue ball, he'll be okay. Possible shot to nothing for Mark Selby, the one that's near the pink spot. You can snick that into the right corner and take the white back up towards the yellow. And if it happened to go in the pocket, he could then lay a snooker. So it's worth trying to snick these in.
Too difficult to play the pot here, so he'll be playing the thin safety shot. Ronnie's safety today has been very, very good. He's still above 90% and he's 4-2 behind. It just shows you how good his safety has been. Mark's obviously been getting in from pots at distance in the early part of the match, not obviously in this latter part.
really is a terrific safety exchange. Ronnie not wanting to bring the black into play. Mark could get a chance to play a safety shot. He would try and bring the black and pink into play. But he's got to be a little bit careful this time. Ronnie, well, he knows that if he doesn't catch this right, he can push a red towards the corner pocket. That's very good again.
Both players having to watch where the object ball's going at the moment. I mean, the cue ball, there's no problem getting back into baulk, but they're having to judge where the red's going every time they play a safety. Another great shot there. Now there's a problem for Mark. You can see the edge of these reds, but there's virtually a three. If the third red is canning into the pink, he'll play it and not even worry about where the object ball's going. But if the red is canning in off the pink and going towards the pocket, he's going to have to be careful. He wants to hope the third red just cannons the pink full ball. Well, just any harder, you can see that red sneaking over towards the corner. But another good safety. It's a good little exchange of safety, this.
The red is near the pocket, but look at the cue ball. He's covered it. And if Mark attempts to come back down the table, he's going to have to be careful he doesn't leave that red that's near the right corner pocket. Just looking to see if there was a possible path between the red and pink. That's the angle he's looking at, so he's trying to send the red over towards the other red, hoping to disturb these two that are around the right corner pocket. So can he find the gap and get back to somewhere near where the white is at the moment? And can he disturb those two reds, get them away from the pocket? Can he fluke it in off the two reds? But look at the white. It was a super shot he played there. Okay, the fluke was a bit of a bonus. He was just trying to disturb them, but to hit one, to hit the other, and go in off. Good result. No, he hasn't.
Mark Selby, 1.
Got the snooker. He tried to just nestle on the yellow there. That was good cueing, wasn't it? It was almost dead straight. He was on the cushion. Yellow slightly in the way. Hadn't got a lot going for it, that last shot.
If the pink does pot, he'd be itching to take the pink on, but you can see it, A, it's very tight, and B, the white's near the cushion. That's why he's playing the safety. Look at the way he's played the safety.
Ronnie O'Sullivan,
He's not
1.
too worried about leaving this red on because he feels the pink's unavailable, but he's put the green well away from the yellow and sight on the side cushion. 50 in front. Massive favourite to get back to within one frame at 4-3.
Got to be careful he doesn't get the double kiss. He's just playing the safety here. Well played. He missed the red by a fraction, but he did well there. Might finish up behind the brown here if Ronnie catches this correctly. played it well again. Just watch how close the white gets to the red.
Yes, he won't be playing this at pace, but he's got to be a little careful here. If he does play it at pace, he doesn't hit it full ball. His wrist playing the half
Foul
ball
and a miss.
or quarter ball,
There's Sullivan,
safety
fine.
there. But if he catches this full ball, he just pushes it towards the middle, so he's got to be very, very careful. He's 55 in it now. He can afford to miss it one more time, can't he? 59 in front with 59 on. So is it worth the risk, the two cushion thin one? Maybe not, because the same result would leave him needing a snooker if he hits the blue.
That's a good point you mentioned there. If he misses it this time, he'd be 59 behind with 59 on the table. Be interesting to see if the referee calls a miss.
Just going to say the same thing. What would happen there then if he misses it? Would he call a miss?
I asked you first, Willie.
Can I ask you back? Can we have an argument? I don't know, because I mean, obviously, technically, you can't win the frame at one visit, can you?
Let's hope that situation doesn't arise and he hits the red, but it has. Well, he's hit the blue. He now
Foul.
needs a snooker, so
Ronnie O'Sullivan, fine.
no miss will be called.
I think he did that purpose just to get us out of the argument that we'd have had if he only gave 4 points away, not 5. Where the balls are at the minute, I think Mark and Ronnie just having a little laugh. Mark's saying, I want all the colours in open play. Ronnie's saying, I'm glad we're the same. In betting terms, Ronnie O'Sullivan is about 1 to 8 to win this frame.
Well, that's nice to see the players having a little bit of banter there. Not often you see Ronnie talking to an opponent and having a joke with him, but he seems to be enjoying himself out there.
Should this red disappear, that'll certainly keep Mark Selby on his seat, I'm sure.
Bit of a lapse in concentration there.
One.
If he doesn't cut the black in, it's definitely the end of frame. This is a must pot.
Eight.
Certainly a brand new complexion on this
Mark
frame
Selby.
now. The fact that
8.
if Mark could pot 2 reds and 2 blacks and leave the red where it is at the moment, very easy snooker, isn't it? So it's quickly got into a position where he's not such a big outsider. Still the yellow and green are massively in on his favour.
We did have a 43-minute frame. And we said Ronnie wouldn't be involved in too many of those. We're already past the 30-minute mark. It's coming up to 31 minutes. And this is a bit of a chance to get 2 reds and 2 blacks and then look for that snooker. There's the frame time. That could be the end now. Didn't manage to get on the black. It was a good effort.
Ramble.
Did very well, because if he hadn't have potted the brown, he would have needed 3 snookers.
5.
He's looking at the scoreboard.
Well, a little bit surprised he's not playing the pot there. I thought
Mark
he could have
Selby,
had a go at the
5.
red in the yellow pocket and stood on and off the cushion for the black. Okay, even if he's got the snooker, it's very, very easy to hit.
Yeah, he needs 2 reds, 2 blacks, and 1 snooker to tie. Where's the cue ball? Where's that white? Never. Oh, it looked as if it was going to go in the corner. What a difference that could have made, Willie.
Absolutely. No point in taking this red on unless you can guarantee getting onto the black, so it'll only be a safety if you can't get onto the black. No attempt at the pot there. Good little shot that. Oh, just enough sticking out. He can be in trouble here. He'll be playing around 3 cushions, trying to get the white in behind the brown cushion, that brown spot area on the cushion.
Yeah, with his left hand as well.
This is a horrible shot to play at distance, especially if he decides to play it slow for the black.
He had to try and hold for the black. He just
Friend
signalled
conceded.
to Ronnie
Friend
to
to
say
Ronnie
that he had conceded. So another longish friend. But Ronnie O'Sullivan has managed to take it, and he now closes the gap. He's just 1 behind at 4-3.
Well, let's just remind you what these fellas are playing for. Remember, they're trying to get into the final tomorrow of this Maplin United Kingdom Championship and join Stephen Maguire from Glasgow, because it was last night that Stephen wrapped up his victory over his arch rival, Sean Murphy. It wasn't easy for him, though, because Sean Murphy came straight back at him. High break of 144. Never write him off. He worked very hard, but Maguire eventually wrapped it up by 9 frames to 5 to book his place in his second UK Championship final. Remember, he won this 3 years ago and finishes with a flourish.
You don't really see a lot of bad body language for Sean, but when I was like 2-3-1 up, going 4-1, I noticed that he was kind of getting off his chair. He looked quite sluggish, and I just wanted to push on. Now, at 3-1 at the interval, I said to my dad, I said I could get this 7-1 here, and that's the match done. And I came out, and that's what I tried to do, and I got it. So that kind of finished off the match.
I think one of the main things that people forget about snooker is that it's a 2-man sport, and no matter how well you play, if your opponent doesn't let you play, then you're going to go nowhere. And you know, this afternoon I spent most of my time up in the baulk cushion or behind the baulk colours trying to play a miracle shot, get out of jail, that type of thing. And you know, at this level, you can't really win any matches playing like that.
I knew that the closer he got, now it might have looked bad if I was going to crumble or something like that, but the closer it got, then he wouldn't have took the mad ones on, because then the pressure reverses to his side. So I was just kind of waiting for a chance, really.
Well, he waited and it paid off. It was a valiant effort last night from Sean Murphy, though. He came out fighting. Break of 144, the highest of the championship so far.
Yes, he left himself a bit to do with that 7-1 deficit in the morning session. I think Stephen Maguire was pretty pleased with his day's work there, and always felt in control. And you know, he looked pretty happy, quite rightly so. I think he's playing pretty decent stuff. If he's looking today at these two lads playing, I'm not saying every day's a different day, but he must be fancying his chances. There's a chance here to win the UK Championship.
Indeed, and a chance, Steve, for him to become only the 11th player in history to win back-to-back world ranking events, having won in Northern Ireland last month. He seems to have hit on a rich vein of form once again, and it's taken a while for that to happen.
Yes, it has. I think, you know, when it first happened, it could be argued it's a bit of a shock to the system, and all of a sudden it takes a bit of getting used to being a champion, and then you have the sort of the downside of perhaps thinking you have to do better than you actually are having to do. Possibly players a little bit more the underdog against you, so they raise their standard and you struggle a bit. But he's now back, I think, to the type of standard that he did produce originally. And he looked very menacing around the table and like a predator that he was back then. So he'll be fancying his chances, I think.
I think that's a very good adjective. It does look very menacing, and he's got that sort of way around the table. It is quite a threatening pose that he adopts sometimes, Steve. I think it could be a great final at whomever he plays tomorrow.
That's right. Well, obviously Ronnie O'Sullivan dug himself in here and got back into this, so it could be a different match. Depends on who he plays in the final.
Well, here we go. This is the last frame of the opening session. Mark Selby has broken off.
Yes, and he's been kept off the table for quite some time now, Mark Selby, hasn't he? He's not made a break above 30 since the third frame, and if he gets out of this session 4-4, Ronnie, you've got to take your hat off to him, because he's had to battle. He's had to get involved in safety battles, which he doesn't normally like to do, but what he has proved that he can do it with the best of them, and Selby's very, very proficient in that department. Was out of the room for best part of 4.5, 5 minutes again, and I can only presume Ronnie must be feeling a few stomach problems or something like that, because he's not ever ungentlemanly. I think you can have to say that about Ronnie. He's the perfect gentleman on the table.
Well, he can see enough of this red. But he has, you mentioned, well, he has been kept off the table. This would be a confidence booster. Where's it going to finish? Over the middle pocket by the looks of things. Well, it's picking up a bit of pace. It still may be cuttable. But that type of shot that he took on there, he's very good at it, Mark Selby, but they're okay when you're in full stride. Must just be a bit too thin, that one, the middle pocket. You could hear the applause building there, not only for the pot, but when the scene where the white was going to finish. They really are involved in this match. Almost a packed house, just a couple of empty seats. The crowds have been terrific here at the Telford Centre, and have appreciated all these great players this week.
9.
Ten of the top 6 in seed went out in the first round, but it hasn't taken anything away from this year's UK Championship. You've seen some bright new young stars coming through, which is
16.
always nice to see.
Yes, it's always a tournament though, isn't it, when this young man's still in the tournament. Undoubtedly our prized asset at this moment in time, as far as pleasing to the eye.
17.
Purposely trying to leave an angle on the yellow to go into the bunch, but there is the one loose red, but Ronnie normally goes into them from this position.
That's the angle that he's faced with, and he may just decide to take that on. He knows if he gets it right. It'll be interesting to see what he decides on here. He's played for the loose one. Still on the line there, as you see, it would have went right into the bunch. Depends on those two reds
19.
at the back and to the right as to whether they're available. Well, there's an extra red that's on there that we didn't first spot.
20.
It's the first time all week Ronnie's refused that, but as Dennis mentioned, we weren't aware that the second of the two reds potted. That's probably made his mind up not to go into them, but this week he's gone into that pack every possible time, regardless of how many loose reds are on. But this is a massive frame, isn't it, for Ronnie O'Sullivan? He's been kept very quiet in the first 4 frames. Not played anywhere near his best in this 4, but got right back into the match.
26. Right,
let's see what happens this time. Oh, the red's close.
A foul.
You could
Ronnie
play,
O'Sullivan 27.
you could
Mark
play all
Selby,
day and not
7.
pull this type of shot off. Plant 2 reds up into the corner. At least he hasn't left anything easy for Mark.
That cue ball had been another inch nearer the cushion. He would take this one along the cushion and get on the black. He's looking at a possible one in the middle pocket. The one to the extreme left of the pack will pot in the middle, and he can get in such a position off the one to the edge of the pack to get onto the black and possibly play it as a shot to nothing. He's just looking where he needs to leave the cue ball. The only thing that can go wrong here, of course, should he miss the red in the middle, it jaws and comes straight back down this end. It's worth the risk, this one, though.
One.
A very confident strike there. I think at the start of this match, if someone had said you can be 4-all with Ronnie O'Sullivan, he'd be quite pleased about it. If they had said, well, you're going to lead 5-3, I think he'd have been delighted, but the way he's played, he deserves a 5-3 lead. He's got quite a few balls to knock in, and straight away a poor positional shot, as you can see from our side-on view. He's going to have to take the pink now, played for the blue. But this could work in his favour. Didn't play for the pink. And there you go. Played a very good shot there.
15.
And every chance now to score a nice few points here.
It's a strange game, isn't it, how a bad shot sometimes can work in your favour. Really
16.
poor not to get top side of the blue, but faced with a tricky pink, but went all out for position, and his favourite to win the frame now.
$23. $24. $31.
Just actually finished a little bit lower on the red, but once again this is one of those scenarios where he can flick off the other red and get onto pink or blue, and that would open all the 3 remaining reds that are tight at the moment.
32. $38. 59.
And this is a terrific performance from Mark Selby after having to sit and watch Ronnie dominate the two previous frames. Breaks of 78, 51, but Ronnie now feels that it's slipping towards 5-3 for Mark.
$46.
He won't need the difficult red. He'll be working out. He's looking at the scoreboard there. He'll be working out that Ronnie will need a snooker if he can get that far.
$47.
It's considering no 30 breaks since frame 3. This is a really good effort from Mark Selby. Well, what's he done here? Oh, he's okay. He's held the spot. I think he snookered himself for 1 minute, but he's held it top side of the spot, not bottom side of the spot. So nears it to its own spot without touching. I thought he'd actually left it this side of the spot, in which case he'd have been snookered.
It's all going to make for a fascinating session this evening.
53.
Ronnie O'Sullivan is certainly going to be 2 behind.
$54.
Just the pink needed.
$60. Mark Selby, 60.
Well, that was top draw, that break of 60. Came off an O'Sullivan, unluckily planted a red into the top corner pocket. 40 points in front. Ronnie entitled to carry on, but Selby looks like he's going to go 5-3 in front. As long as he pots the pink. Still needs possible 3 snookers now, but he'd have liked to have kept that red on. So he's 33, then he's 27 on.
7.
Can still in behind the brown here. 2 snookers needed. Yellow up towards the black, white in behind the brown.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 7.
And this is not bad. He's going to have to play up at least 2 cushions here.
Well, I think he's got it so close to the brown that Mark can't come off the side cushion. He's going to have to go off the baulk cushion. Which means he's got to hit at least, what, 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 cushions. Where are we going next? Well, it took me a while to get those lines up, but that's the escape that I was thinking of because he's so close to the brown, so he's got to go pretty close to the blue. The lines might not be just right, but that's the sort of area he's looking to go. That's round the back of it, is it? Yeah, that's the end of the
Foul.
frame.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 4.
I'm getting excited. It's Ronnie that needs the snookers. And there's another one.
Needed that yellow to bounce away from the cushion though, because even though he might need the spider to play the shot, he should be able to hit this yellow off 1 cushion. If that yellow had been a foot off the cushion, it would have been easily missable. I think getting the spider out's the way to play this one. Well, if he plays the two-cushion way he's looking now, this is definitely missable. And of course, he would only then be 25 behind Ronnie. I'm surprised he's playing this way. Especially because it's leaving a very easy safety shot for Ronnie. Playing with the spider off one cushion, you can almost guarantee, because it's just a no shide, plain ball. It's a big target when they're near the cushion. It's not a big target when they're away from the cushion.
Both players anxiously looking to see if there's a gap there, and there is. Certainly to hit the yellow. I'm wondering if you can see enough of it to take the pot on. What a frame this is turning out to be. It looked odds on, as if it was going to be 5-3.
25 in front, Dan. Would you take it on? I think you'd have to, wouldn't you?
He's looked at the angle. If it goes, he will. If you can see enough of it. Looks a bit tight though, doesn't it?
The crowd side, Mark Selby looks up to the commentary box and quite happy to see that the yellow's gone safe. It was game ball, that, wasn't it? And this is not an easy safety shot for O'Sullivan. This is tough to get safe.
Foul. Mark Selby.
Well, he played that with... I thought it was going to come off the cushion and hit the yellow from behind, but he had left-hand side on it, so he was playing a thin snick. Just watch the white left-hand side took it away from the yellows. He's back needing that one snooker, but that was a surprising shot there. I thought he was going to come off the cushion and hit the yellow, but he would have needed the other side to do that. It's a good effort again. I don't expect Mark to miss this. Had the yellow have bounced a little bit further away from the cushion, he could have slipped around the back of it. Another snooker, but he can just slip past the green off the side cushion. I think that's the easiest way. With the yellow near the cushion again, he should hit this quite comfortably.
Good cue ball again, but he's left the object ball in open play. This is a tempter for Mark. The up and down safety is the straightforward shot, but I don't know whether he's thinking of playing the pot or the up and down safety. Played the safety shot, but not a good one this time.
Another good effort. If he doesn't hit the black, it spoiled it somewhat.
He's come to look at the potting angle for the cut. Now the middle pocket is the line the cue ball will be taking, so be very careful if you play the cut. Made sure he played it thick rather than thin to take the enough out of the equation. Virtually every shot Ronnie's come close to getting a snooker, hasn't he? Every time he's played the safety shot, he's come very close.
That could be the end. Yes, Ronnie shakes the hand of Mark Selby. It's been a fascinating afternoon snooker. It looked as if Ronnie had the chance to get back 4-all, but Mark Selby, he'll be delighted. He takes the session 5 frames to 3, and isn't he happy?